Hey everyone, welcome back. We're glad you're here. In this video, we're going to share a short compilation of our journey from Mount Rainier in Washington to North Dakota, focusing on what we loved, what we learned, and what we would do differently when we eventually visit these areas again. And we hope you find some of this info helpful if you're planning trips to these areas. We had traveled from Indiana to Mount Rainier for a special event. Our nephew was getting married, and the couple had asked him to perform the ceremony. The big day was rainy, but the wedding was beautiful, and we feel really honored to have been a part of it. We spent a couple days in Seattle with the family to celebrate and then started our journey back towards Indiana. We were only able to visit Mount Rainier while we were in Washington this time, but we hope to get back in the future to visit Cascades and Olympic as well. Washington also has an abundance of national forests we'd like to explore. We got off to a late start leaving Seattle and didn't have a specific destination in mind for the night, but we hope to make it into the Idaho Panhandle.
We're living quick in this world, gonna get it right now. People talk and tell what you wanna hear now, but they all disappear. They will let you down. So we better stick together. Let's come whatever. We're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in this world, gonna get it right now. We only need the two of us together. We only need the two of us together. 'Cause we got love.
We managed to make it over the state line into Idaho before we needed to stop for the night and managed to find a Forest Service campground just outside Coeur d'Alene. If you're visiting Coeur d'Alene and looking for a little more seclusion while camping, this is a great little campground. The next morning, we left the interstate and headed north out of Coeur d'Alene through Sand Point and then crossed into Montana. We're planning a future trip back to Idaho, though. We'd like to spend several weeks exploring the national forests. There is so much national forest area in Idaho to explore. After crossing into Montana, we entered the Kootenai National Forest and decided to make a stop at Kootenai Falls. There's a suspension bridge here over the Kootenai River. We didn't feel like we had time to make the hike down to the suspension bridge, and this is one of the things we would do different. We would go ahead and make that hike. Our destination for tonight was Glacier National Park. We had rented a small cabin in a campground in West Glacier. I had to work virtually the next day, so Tim used that day to run errands. Glacier has a limited entry system, but we were not successful reserving a pass when they were released earlier in the year. They do hold some back to release the day before, but unfortunately we weren't successful reserving one of those either. You can still enter the park though, as long as you do it really early before they start requiring the passes or later in the day. When we were there, I think you had to enter before 6 or after 5, but I believe they have changed those times. Always check the website to see what the times are. If we were to visit Glacier again, we would like to try staying in the park itself to avoid that issue and just to give us more access to some of the amenities in the park. So the next day, we were up about 5 and in the park before 6 a.m., which we actually didn't mind. It was really cool to see the sun rise in the park and to not have to deal with any of the traffic. Just like in Mount Rainier National Park, there is a road going to the Sun Road that goes all the way up over the mountain and through the park. And just like Rainier, this one wasn't completely open yet due to snow. So we drove in as far as we could and then turned around and explored on our way back out. Yellowstone was actually experiencing epic flooding during this week as well, and they were evacuating areas of Yellowstone and closing parts of the park. So our timing of having visited it a week before was really fortunate. Despite the restrictions and the difficulties getting into the park, we do think it is worth visiting Glacier if you have the opportunity to do so.
This is a good day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin. This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face,
color of the water.
The next morning, we left Glacier bright and early. When going to the Sun Road is closed, the quickest way around to the east is Highway 2. Highway 2 around the south end of Glacier is a beautiful drive of its own. We drove all the way around to the Two Medicine entrance on the east side of Glacier and then continued our journey east to Great Falls. From Great Falls, we headed south into the Little Belt Mountains in search of a Forest Service campground. Logging Creek is a remote campground in the Lewis and Clark National Forest. The road we took in was pretty rugged, and so when we got there, we were surprised to see RVs. The road we took out wasn't quite as bad though, so I guess that explains it. This is another beautiful, quiet Forest Service campground, but watch out for the deer. He is gonna come take our apple.
Hi there. Ooh. Huh? What do you smell? Huh? No, don't lick the mustard.
The next morning, we packed up our tent and prepared to head home. We had planned to spend about another week exploring North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, but some things had come up at home and we needed to get back a little bit sooner. We did take a drive through Theodore Roosevelt National Park on our way back, though. We hope you've enjoyed reminiscing with us a little bit about that first trip if you've been with us for a while. And if you're new to the channel and want more info about any of the places we visited, we'll link the playlist here at the end. Like we mentioned in last week's video, this was the trip that really inspired us to want to travel full-time. We're working towards that goal every day and hope to be there within the next couple years. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.